In today's screencast, we're just going to look at the basics of two-way tables. We're not going to do a test. We're just going to look at the basics, how to graph, how to find expected values, and how to find the chi-square statistic. So let's get started. Step one, we look at our table data. So we've found a problem that deals with gender and opinion on a smoking bill. So Congress has a smoking bill that they are looking at, and we took a random sample of males and females, and we're curious what their responses would be. Step one, whenever we have a two-way table, is to complete the marginals. In other words, add up the columns and add up the rows. So we'll take 100 plus 168, we get 268. We just get all the rows and columns added up and move on to step two. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at a conditional distribution. The most interesting one I think we could look at here would be the male conditional distribution and the female conditional distribution. To do that, we just take the cell values from male, like 100 here, and we divide by the row total. So we're going to take 100 divided by 330, and when I put that in my calculator, I get 30%. Then we're going to take 80 and divide by 330, and we get 24. And then we'll take 150 and divide by 330, and we get 46. If it doesn't add up to exactly 100%, you probably just have some round off error. And we do the same thing for the females. We'll take 168 and divide by 380, and 48 divided by 380, and 164 divided by 380. Now, numbers in themselves, they give us some information, but the best way to look at this would be in a segmented bar graph. So remember, we have males here and females here. I put the data into Excel, but we could make them by hand. We could just draw a line down here. Say this is 0, go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And for males, we would go to 30. 10, 20, 30, and then we would add 24, so we would go up to 54. 10, 20, 30, 40, 54 would be about there, and then the rest of the way. And then we would do the same thing. We could make this a little more interesting. We could color these, put that blue, red, green. That's male. Then right above that we could do females, go up to 44%, 10, 20, 30, 44. Whoops. Let's go back to black. And 13%, so 40, 57, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 here, and then we finish it. We could color code it. And we have our segmented bar graph. We can see that there seems to be some differences in the proportions for male and females. We'll flip onto the next page, and poof, we have an Excel segmented bar graph giving us the same information. They put female on top and they put male on the bottom. Now that we've looked at a graph, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the expected values. So we'll give ourselves an empty chart. And to get the expected values, if I'm going to do this top cell, what I need to do is take the column total, multiply by the row total, and divide by the grand total. So for this first cell, we're going to take 268, and we're going to multiply. So there's your column total. Over here, we have our row totals. So we'll take 330, and then we'll divide all that by 710. You can stop the video right now and try it and see if you can do this bottom cell right here. Alright, I hope you tried it. I'm back. So we'll take 268. We'll go grab 380. And divide by 710. Now when we get to the middle here, we'll use 128 and 330 and divide by 710. Let's get this one, then we'll kind of move on. So we would take 314 multiply by 330 and divide by 710. And then we'll get out our handy dandy calculator and figure out what those are. Okay, I decided to fill in the last two little boxes. Notice in the top one we're multiplying 330 across all of them because that's the number of males, and we're multiplying by 380 across here in every one of the boxes because that's the number of females, and then we're just doing the proportions of oppose, neutral, and favor for the group. Alright, we have all our work written out here. On the next page I've done the math. First expected value for male and oppose is 124, so we're ready to do our chi-square statistic. We take our observed value, so for this first cell we take 100 and we take 124.6, our expected value. We find out the difference and we divide by our expected value, so we get 124.6 down here, and that will be the contribution for that cell. We'll move to the next cell, 80 minus 59.5 quantity squared, and we'll divide that by 59.5, and we'll continue doing that for all the cells. And when we get done working out our contributions, we'll have our chi-square statistic, which in this case will be 22.47. You can do the work yourself if you want to figure it out. The last step is to use the chi-squared CDF command with 22.47, a big number like 1,000. And last, we need our degree of freedom. To figure out the degree of freedom, we take our row total minus 1 times column total minus 1. So we have 2 rows minus 1, and we have 3 columns. So we get 1 times 2, so our degree of freedom is 2. And when we punch this in on our calculator, we get a p-value of 0.00013. And those are the basics of two-way tables. Sorry it was a little long. Good night.